A destination is a place that you want to arrive, a goal you want to hit. But the destination that you choose dictates the journey that you must go on to get there. If you want to achieve a goal or reach a destination, it makes sense to make sacrifices to get there. Life is not meant to be easy after all. However, the journey is where you spend all your time. The journey takes up your day-to-day moments. Those are the reality of your actual life. And time is our most limited resource in life. So would it not be wise to pick the journeys that you wish to take first and let those journeys decide the destinations or goals that you decide that you want to reach? Do you make your decisions the wrong way round? Hello and welcome to the Growth Mindset Podcast. I'm Sam, and today we're going hard onto really getting to the point of why we do things and working out what things we should even be doing. As we approach the New Year's, it's a great time to take stock of where we're at and where we're going and why. This episode is going to cover the nature of a good goal that's actually useful for us that we would want to set, and how our aspirations can get infiltrated by things that we don't actually want ourselves and can be desires that have been planted in our brain by other things. The first half of the episode will help us work out how to set a better direction for us that will truly make us happy. And then we'll dig into the mindsets that we need to keep going, how we can stay on track when life throws curveballs at us, or we find that we simply start to lose motivation or perspective on the goals that are important to us. These are some classic topics that I've dug up from the archives for you today, because now is a perfect time of the year to question what our goals are and why we have them, to help us take stock and refocus coming into the new year. So I certainly hope this episode helps you with that. What to do with our lives is infinitely confusing. In the modern age, we have such an array of choices. It just seems to be getting even more and more overwhelming and difficult to make the right choices. There's no such thing as a perfect choice, which can lead to us feeling lost and like we're missing out. And I want to start with highlighting the illusions of the false nature of aspirational destinations and the problem that it causes us. Social media is all about the destination, the beautiful meal, the successful entrepreneur, the amazing view. Yet the reality of these things often isn't that sexy or enjoyable. Just imagine the beautiful meal. The definition of our last decade was appearance over substance. No one can taste a photo. So the taste is the first thing to sacrifice when you're optimizing for people liking your photo. Surface level beauty that doesn't actually reach more than skin deep. Makeup on top of your food does not taste good. But I feel the false nature of the content that we consume on social media defines so many problems in our aspirations, when those things are completely unreal things that we suddenly decide we might be wanting to do. Again, the successful entrepreneur is so incredibly busy that becomes their life status. They're too busy for friends, too busy for family, too busy for their own health. Late nights and long weekends turn into years of stress and anxiety, years that can't be purchased back. Money, if they ever manage to achieve it, won't buy back the friends, family, or health when those things are lost. But all you see is the pictures of success, and you don't see all the sacrifices that may or may not be worth it for you to do. Again, with an exotic view that actually entails flying, queuing, arguing with taxi drivers, more queuing. Paying to follow the crowd means you are in a crowd. It does not feel special when you get there and there's lots of other people. Sure, you get that photo to prove something to everyone else. Yet, all you actually achieve is proving to yourself that no one actually cares that much about your photo. Because you didn't care about your friend having fun when you saw them doing it, and you were only thinking of yourself not having as much fun. Impressing people doesn't make them happy. Instead, try giving them your time and attention instead. So, reality often isn't as sexy as it appears. It's easy to look at the sexy part of someone else's life and fool ourselves into thinking that's what we want. But when we reach the destination, we may find it much less satisfying than we expected, and we can feel deflated. Instead of chasing these highs, we find we were actually chasing lows and the rug has been pulled out upon us. Well, that sounded a bit depressing, sorry, but don't worry. It's all positive from now on, pretty much, because, hey, what we can do is ask ourselves some questions and think about how to live in the now. As every day passes, that is another page of the story of your life. It will just keep ticking by. Your story is just all the things that go wrong and the enjoyment that you might derive from them. Your whole life is a journey, but its ultimate destination will be a gravestone. So it would be absurd to optimize for the best gravestone. The only thing that matters is the journey of your life as it happens, not its destination. Each decade, each year, each day, it's not about where you get to, it's about what you get to do. It's not about where you are, it's about who you are. There's no second chance to live the life of all the things you were too busy to do the first time. Your life is how you live it right now. So focus on the journey. A really nice idea from Mo Gawdat is about the concept of talking about time in heartbeats. There are only so many heartbeats in your life. Every use of your time is spending your limited heartbeats that you have remaining. So don't put things off. Don't wait. Spend your heartbeats on the things that make you feel alive as you do them. Do not waste time on proving anything to anyone but yourself. A quote I love from Alan Watts is, "When a bird sings, it doesn't sing for the advancement of music. But if somebody stops to listen and is delighted, that's fine. When a mountain stream flows out of a spring beside the road and the thirsty traveller comes along and drinks deeply, the traveller is most welcome to the water. But the mountain stream is not waiting with the intention of refreshing thirsty travellers. It is just bubbling forth." And the point is, just do what you do because you like doing it, and don't do it to please others or because people say you should do something. Optimize for the journey. Money, after all, is just a mechanism to give you autonomy. Sacrificing your autonomy to seek money is a fruitless game going in the wrong direction, like a dog chasing its tail. Ayn Rand says that money is only a tool. It'll take you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. So ultimately, as I've said, you must savor the journey for a destination to be worthwhile to get to. And yes, it doesn't mean it will be easy and life will be butterflies. It might be hard with stress that pushes you in ways that you need to be pushed. Learn to know and accept yourself first to find worthwhile journeys for you. Ignore what the rest of the world does. And then you can make a list of destinations that require journeys which delight you for your own enjoyment. Again, quoting Ayn Rand because I was reading her books lately. She says, "Do not let your fire go out. Do not let the hero in your soul perish in the lonely frustration for the life you deserved but have never been able to reach. Instead, check the nature of your battle. The world that you desired can be won. It exists. It is real. It is possible. It is yours." Another really, really good quote on the topic of money states that money is like gas on a road trip. Yes, it is an essential component, but it's not about a tour of gas stations. And on that, we have covered what might be wrong with our goals, and we're going to have a quick ad break to keep the show running before we jump into the second half of the episode and learning how to hit and stick with our goals. Okay, so taking stock. We have established that many things are much less sexy than they seem. And for the second half, I want to cover how to get through the hard times, because journeys that are worth taking aren't going to all be rainbows and butterflies. We should expect moments of mundanity. We should expect severe difficulties that crush our spirits. That's part of the game of life. Because if you think about a game, what is a good game? Imagine you're playing chess. If you always win, you'd get bored very fast and you'd stop playing because there's no point. If you always lost, you'd get bored very fast and you'd stop playing because there is no point. If you sometimes win when you play chess, you're being challenged and you want to improve and you keep playing. So the opposite sides of the spectrum actually have the same result of just getting bored. Having a certain success or certain failure is boring. We should be playing games in life where we are tested and often fail, because lack of certainty pushes us to dig deeper and reach new levels where deeper satisfaction can be found. We should find games that we can keep playing for the love of playing. But with that comes failure and difficulty. And so I want to talk about the rule of thirds. Alexei Pappas is an Olympian who learned this concept that I love. 1/3 of your days will be good. 1/3 of your days will be okay, and 1/3 of your days will feel crappy. And that's just how she found it when she was training for the Olympics. Like, she just didn't always turn up to the gym and felt on fire. She'd often feel terrible. But that's fine. It's just important for us to accept that hard things are not going to always feel fantastic. There is no dream life where everything is easy. Cheat codes will only cheat us of satisfaction. Besides Olympic training, I find this idea just comes up everywhere for me in life, whether it's exercise or creativity, business, or big adventures like climbing mountains. And that brings me to my final concept that I also love, was a phrase that I heard on Hidden Brain podcast recently. It's just another cold, dark night on the side of Everest. And this was in regards to someone who was getting a bit bored doing their PhD. And basically what it means is the most significant achievements will just have long periods of feeling a bit miserable. If you think about someone halfway up Everest in a cold, dark night, it's easy for us to visualize the big goal and achievement and satisfaction they'll have at the top. But in the moments when our day-to-day journey just feels mundane and difficult and lonely, it is easy for us to lose perspective. So it's handy to remind ourselves when it's one of those crappy days that it's just part of doing something worthwhile. It's just another one of those cold, dark nights on the side of Everest. So remember to scrutinize the destination up front and consider that the destination could be over-glorified and the journey not worth it. We can end up chasing shadows of success and confine ourselves to a life of sacrifices, aspirationally waiting for a better tomorrow, which disappears before we reach it. Now is where it is at. The journey is what we should be optimizing for. However, any game worth playing will have failures and low moments. That is the beauty of life. We want to build a mindset capable of zooming out from our situation and realize that this is exactly where we want to be, on the route to something that's actually worthwhile and a journey we can be grateful for. So if this has helped you and enjoyed this, you might like my newsletter called Explosive Thinking, where I dive into mindsets, creativity, and the existential point of anything. And as I like to remind you, nothing should be easy, but if you want to enjoy your life, that starts with enjoying today. Thank you so much for listening. Your consistency to reach the end of an episode is legendary. But when we learn things, it's important to reflect. So I politely invite you to take a pause, rifle through the biggest ideas you just heard. So here's your opportunity to hit pause and have a think. Okay, did you wrestle with some insights? Information doesn't stick when we race from one podcast to the next without using our brain to play with the knowledge. So here's another go at a pause. Alrighty, I'll let you off to continue with your life now. If you have any ideas or feedback for the show, I'm always interested to hear from you. And other than that, please stay curious. Curious. Spine, the nose.